Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatever time of day it is and whatever part of the world you're at right now. Welcome back, and today we're going to do a mini lesson for an algebra review based on solving equations, and this is going to be part 1, okay? So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump in, not waste any more time. So number 33 says 18 equals 3 minus 3a. First thing you want to do, separate it into two sides. Now, you have the left and the right. Since my variable is on the right, I want to go ahead and start off with this one. The most efficient move to make first is to subtract 3 from both sides. And the reason we're subtracting 3 from both sides is because the 3 is positive, okay? So in other words, in order to move it, it has to become negative. When we do that, the 3's right here cancel out, and now we're left with 15 equals negative 3a. Well, the last step here is to divide both sides by negative 3. So that's what we're going to do. Divide by negative 3 to isolate the variable. The negative 3's cancel out, and a positive divided by a negative is a negative, so this is going to be negative 5. A equals negative 5. Number 34. Once again, we want to draw a line down the middle of our equal sign to show that we have two sides, the left and the right. Now, and what I'm going to do, I'm going to also work this two different ways. The first way, I'm going to solve it by how we would normally solve equations. And then the second way, I'm going to clear the fraction. So I'm going to put clear the fraction. That's how I'm going to do it the second time. Okay? So, if we're following our traditional rules for solving equations, the first thing we want to do, we want to isolate the variable term. So in order to do that, I'm going to move that positive 4 by subtracting it from both sides. When I do that, the 4's cancel out, the positive 4 and the negative 4 cancel out, and then we're left with negative 1/2 n equals negative 16. The negative 12 and the negative 4, they're the same signs, and the rule is same signs you add. Now, at this point, you're going to see me rewrite this, and I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal of that fraction. So it's going to, instead of negative 1/2, it's going to be negative 2 over 1. And I'm going to multiply both sides by negative 2 over 1. Now, on the left side, the fractions being multiplied by its reciprocal cancels out and just makes positive 1. So we have positive n. And now we need to go ahead and simplify this. We have a negative times a negative, negative 16 times negative 2, basically. And a negative times a negative is a positive, and 16 times 2 is 32. So this would be positive 32. All right, now let's say if we started off by clearing the fraction first. If we start by clearing the fraction first, the denominator is 2. So what that means, I'm going to multiply everybody on both sides by 2. Everybody gets multiplied by 2, okay? So 2 times 4 is 8. 2 times negative 1/2 is just going to end up with a negative 1. So we're going to have negative 1n equals, and then negative 12 times positive 2 is negative 24. Okay, now we can go and move the 8 to the other side. We're going to subtract 8 from both sides because it's positive, and we move positives by subtracting. So that's going to give us negative 1n equals negative 32. And then our last step is to divide both sides by negative 1, which gives us a final answer of positive 32. Once again, n equals positive 32. Okay? All right. We're almost done. We have 2 more questions left. Let's take a look at number 35. Number 35, you have options here. For this one, I'm not going to clear the fraction. I'm just going to go ahead and start rearranging. So I want to subtract 17 from both sides. And the reason we're subtracting 17 is because it's positive. In order to move a positive from one side to the other, we have to subtract. 17's cancel out, and I'm left with 3/4 x equals positive 6. Now, I want to rewrite this and show that I'm multiplying both sides by the reciprocal of the fraction. So I'm going to be multiplying both sides by 4/3. 4/3. Now, when we do that, the fractions over here end up canceling each other out. And now we have x equals. So, this is going to become, if we work this out over here, there's 2 different ways we could look at this. We could do 6 times 4 and then divide by 3. Or we can do 6 divided by 3 and then multiply by 4. As long as you divide by the denominator and multiply by the numerator, the order does not matter. So either way we look at it, if I did it the first way, that's going to give me 24 divided by 3, which is 8. Or I could have 6 divided by 2, which is 6 divided by 3, which is 2, and then 2 times 4 is also 8. Either way we go, 6 times 4/3 is 8. Final answer. All right, let's take a look at the last one, number 36. Once again, we want to separate it into 2 sides, a left and a right. Now, for number 36, before we do anything, we need to distribute. And if you're not sure, remember that we're distributing a negative 4. So when we do that, we're going to get negative 4 times y, which is negative 4y, negative 4 times positive 1, which is negative 4. We bring down the 9y and put it equals 31. Now, at this point, we're going to combine like terms. So our like terms are positive 9y and negative 4y. Those are different signs. So different signs mean to subtract and keep the sign of the larger number. The larger number is 9 and it's positive. So when we subtract, we'll get positive 5y minus 4 equals 31. Now we continue, and we're going to add 4 to both sides. The reason we're adding 4 is because it's a negative. And in order to move negatives, we have to add them. cancel those out. So that becomes 5y is equal to 35. And then obviously the last step is to divide both sides by, you guessed it, 5. The 5's cancel out, and we get y is equal to positive 7. All right, that will conclude this mini algebra review on solving equations. Stay tuned for the next one. Deuces.